Hello there, and welcome to this tutorial about contributing to hardcore maps for Super Fighters Deluxe. So basically what I'm going to explain here is all the steps on how to edit a new map and how to add this map to GitHub, so the hardcore repository that's holding all the code and all the maps. So the first thing you're gonna need is going to this URL here. You're gonna find it in the description of this video, and you'll have to go here and clone this repo. Of course, for that you'll probably need a GitHub account as well. So if you don't have one, you have to go into GitHub and sign up. Once you have your GitHub account, you're gonna have to come here and fork this repository. So you're gonna click on this fork button. I can do it in this repository because it's my repository, so it doesn't make sense. But if I go to any repository on GitHub, like for example this one, I can come here and fork this repository. So basically she's gonna ask you, where do you want to fork this repository? You're gonna choose your account, and it's gonna create a copy of the whole repository in your repository. I'm gonna do this as an example. So you see he's kind of loading all the repo into your profile. And once you have this, you're gonna see you have forked this repository from the original repository. So here you're gonna see basically this name, and over here you're gonna see your name and the name of the repository, which is SFT scripts. So once you've done that, you can clone your repository to your local machine. So you can come here and basically copy this URL using this button or selecting the text. And once you've done that, you can simply type this command, which will basically clone that repo into your local folder. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So in this case, I cloned the repository from Ghost Chat, which is another project on GitHub, but for you it will be SFT scripts. And basically, once you have done this, you're gonna have this folder on your computer with all the little files from the original repository in your PC. So once you have cloned this project, you're gonna have all these files right here. And basically what these files are is just a compilation of the code and maps I use on the server. So you can see all the code that's in there. But what you probably want to do is add maps to hardcore. So what you'll need for that is to come here, and right now I'll create a folder containing all the maps in here. So you're probably gonna see something like this. So I'm gonna add, whoops, that was not the folder, so into hardcore. And basically what I'm gonna do is just copy all my maps in there right now. So I'm gonna grab all the maps, the custom maps I have for hardcore, which are here, and copy them into this folder called maps. Of course, now that you have you're gonna see, when you clone this, you're gonna see already the maps there because I just added them, and I'll push the changes. But right now I've just added them. So basically these maps are all the maps I use in the hardcore server, and you're gonna need to open specifically the hardcore template map, which is gonna contain all the bare bones necessary for creating a new map for hardcore. So once you have all the code and the maps in your local computer, what you're gonna want to do is come to the original repository, so my repository, under SFT scripts. You're gonna create an issue. So you're gonna go to the Issues tab, and you're gonna click on new issue, and you're gonna add a title. So for example, if you want to add a map about I don't know, called for example map super map. So you're gonna add this super map, which comes from you, which you have made using SFD map edition. So you're gonna add this issue right here, and you're gonna assign it to yourself, since you're the one working on the project. If you can assign it to yourself, then just leave it like that. But if you can, just click on the right button, and then you can write a description if you want to. It's not mandatory, but it's better, so I also know what you're doing. And once you've finished this, you're just gonna submit the issue. What this is gonna do is basically tell me that there's someone working on this issue right here. An issue is not a problem per se, but it can also be a new feature being developed, or in this case a map being added to SFD scripts. So it also works in this way. Once you've done this, you can go back to your local repository and you can start creating your map basically. So the first thing you're gonna do is come to your root folder from the repository you cloned, which is right here for me, SFD scripts, and you're gonna do shift click and open PowerShell window here. What this is gonna do is it will allow you to create a new branch. A branch is basically a copy of the work on your local computer, so that you can work on that map exclusively. So you're gonna do git branch new, and you're gonna name your branch with the name of the issue you created here. So the numbering here is 39, so I'm gonna copy this 39, and the title is add map super map, so I'll just write that down, add map super map. Oops, that was not the command. There you go. So now if I do git branch all, you will see I have a new branch called 39 add map super map. And now what you can do is check out your branch, so switch your working folder to that branch. You can do 39 tab. Oh, it's not working. Maybe in your computer it will work. It will automatically fill out the text for that name branch. So as you see, I've checked out this branch, and in here I can start working on the map. Alright, so once we're here, you want to go to Super Fighters, and basically what we're going to do is start from the template map to understand how hardware is made and how you can implement it into your map. So I'm just gonna wait for this to load. I'll probably skip this while I'm editing the video. There you go. So you're gonna go to the map editor. And in here you're gonna search for the maps that you have downloaded. So you're gonna go to the folder that contains the repository you've downloaded from GitHub. So for me it's source, repos, SFD, SFT scripts, internal hardcore maps, and here it is. So I'm gonna open that. And here you can see basically what composes hardcore. So this is the least amount of things that can be in a hardcore map. It is all divided in layers, different layers that I have organized, so it's kind of easy to understand what each thing is doing. So the first thing you're gonna have to know is that you don't have to know how to code to make a new map. This is the whole script that you see right here, which basically is the same that you'll see on the repo when you go to hardcore.cs, which is the class containing all the code. You can see it right here. It's the same file. The only difference is that in hardcore.cs I have all the class and namespace and all this kind of clutter right here. In SFT we only copy this part, so the region script to copy. So that's why it's kind of different. And the only thing you're gonna want to look at if you're creating a new map and you don't know how to code is this region called Map Dependent Data. That is basically a bunch of variables describing some stuff about the map. So for example, the world top, so the world top position, which is where AirStrikes get launched from, or the current map index, or the rounds per map part. This is the only info that you'll have to edit when you are creating a new map. So if we come back to Super Fighter's map editor, you're gonna see the same thing right here, and the region map dependent data is at the top of the file. So you only have to scroll up there and you're gonna see it right here. So now you only have to take your map and start implementing all the little layers that are here. So I'm going to quickly go through each of these layers to explain basically what each of them do. Player skins are basically the way players will look on each team. So you have the red team and the blue team, and each of the profile infos right here contains a little ID right there. For example, blue bomb, blue heavy, blue Kevlar, and all of these little classes are going to be affected to players when they're going to choose their equipment. So if you want to edit how the players look in the map, it's right here. So that's player skins drone zones. This is one of the tough layers in this map. Drone zones is basically where the drones will be able to move in the map. So you know, in hardcore, when you've fought for more than 3 minutes, a drone will pop up, will spawn somewhere in the map, and it will try to chase players around. So basically these zones right here, they all have an object ID set to drone, which is gonna help the script to identify all these zones. And then the drones are gonna move only here. They can't go away, they can't kind of go out of this area triggers right here. They can only move inside the area triggers. So that's why you see that I've kind of laid out the whole map, the whole area where players can move in these area triggers right here. So you have to take these area triggers and adapt them to your specific map. So I'm going to show you kind of a bigger map, so you can see how it's done. For example, Dip Cliff, the map everyone hates. So you can see the drone zones basically are a path for the drones, telling them how to get through the map. And the least amount of squares you can have for an area trigger is 2. So you can't go through smaller spaces than 2 squares on a grid divided by 8 units, because it will just be too small for him to go through. So if it's like a very small space, he wouldn't go right there. So you have to respect that 2 squares area triggers at minimum. So that's what drone zones are. Be sure that when you add them, they touch each other. For example, here, that's not quite a good thing. It should touch each other. Yeah, you probably also have to toggle the snap grid off so you can kind of move this better. You gotta be sure that they touch each other, because that's how the drone will get from one zone to the other. So that's for drone zones. Now for AirStrike markers. These ones are also one of the trickiest kind of components for the map. What AirStrike markers are, it's just a bunch of area triggers, just as the drone zones. They are going to define the areas in which airstrikes and napalm and pinpoint attacks can go to. So basically it will define these zones as zones in which the players will be able to launch the airstrike to. So if there's a bunch of players here, the airstrike attack will work, whereas if you are here, the airstrike attack will not work. And the way this works is just by going to the object ID, and you're gonna see there's a number for each attack. So here you can see napalm 80, and we're gonna go do a little zoom right here, because I think you'll not see a lot of the code in here. What's going on? There you go. So napalm 80, pinpoint 80, airstrike 80, this is just a degree. So basically it says that the pinpoint attack will come from an 80-degree angle. So each time you have a different angle, you have to add it right in the ID. So for example, here is -44, which means the attack will come this way. In here is 45, so it'll come this way. And in here it's just 0, so the attack will come straight from the sky, straight up. And then the airstrike markers, you can put it kind of everywhere, anywhere you want players to be attacked. And in here, for example, if we come back to Deep Cliff, you're gonna see that the airstrike markers are normally in the zones that don't have a roof. So the zones that players can be attacked from the air, which is kind of logic. So that's how you use airstrike markers. For other things, you'll have to modify probably the position of these menus text. So this is in this layer right here, which are basically the objects containing the text of each of the menu for each player. So you kind of have to arrange them in a sort of way that it's visible for everyone, and that the camera kind of doesn't get in the way of players choosing their equipment. Then you have the start spawn point, which is very explicit. It's just where the players are at the start of the match. The menu camera position, which is the same thing, which I explained a little earlier. It's just the position in which the camera will start, so that players can see themselves choosing their equipments. An important thing right here is the map's camera position markers. So if you're doing a map which contains multiple parts, like this one, you know, like for example, police station right here, which has also 3 parts, and each part has a number of rounds to be played. I chose the wrong one. This was not the correct map. I think it's this one. Right, so there you see it. There's 3 parts right here. So what these position markers do is basically telling the script where to move the map each time a round finishes. So you'll see there, most of the time they are aligned vertically. So you see position is 558, and right here position is 558 as well. So that's just where the camera will put. You have to make some tests probably to know if the camera is well set, so you can just move these things around and check how the camera behaves when you start the match. Then you have the red and blue team spawn positions, which are pretty explicit too. It's just a bunch of ledge grabs that mark the starting position for each player. So you can move them, you can arrange them, you can inspire yourself from some of the other maps right there that have also these blue spawn positions right here. Oops, I'm kind of showing everything right now. Okay, that's better. So where are they? I think they are somewhere right here, but I don't know why I can see them. There they are. So if you see right here, there are 8 of them. So each time a player will spawn, you're gonna have to put they're gonna have to choose one of the spawn points to spawn at, and that's basically where the players are going to be. So each team has their own spawn points. And that's kind of all. I think I've gone through most of the important layers. Oh, there's also capture points, which are also important, which are basically the different points in the map that can be captured, so that when a team has captured all the points, a drone will go out killing the other team. So what you have to do to set this up, it's just basically tell them what zone they're at. So this is, for example, zone indexed 1. So this point is 0.10, this one is 0.11, and this one is 0.12. If you come over here, you're gonna see that this one is 0.00, this one is 0.01, and this one is 0.02. So each point corresponds to this own map position. So the same goes here: map 0 camera position, map 1 camera position, and map 2 camera position. So they kind of go together, the map camera position and the capture points. And then when you have put this here with the ID, you're done basically. The script will do everything for you, so you don't have to do anything else. We'll just place it in there, and the script also already has a radius around this point, and we'll manage the color of the capture point and all the other fun stuff. So you don't have to do anything more right there. And then the other stuff is just, you know, like the floors and walls, the spawn room, which is like these walls up there. Nothing really important. So to finish the video, because I think this is getting kind of long, I'm going to explain really quickly what each of these variables mean right here. I'm going to do it from Visual Studio Code, which is kind of better for reading code. So what number of part means, map parts, it's just the number of map parts. So you have to go to your map and see how many map parts you're gonna have in this map. So in this case we set the default to 1, But if you go to hardcore template, you're gonna see that the number of map parts is 3, because we have set 1, 2, and 3 parts right there. Then you have the rounds per map part. This is just a setting that you can modify if you want to make much longer. You can put this to 2 or 3. That will just change kind of the length of the map. And then you're gonna have to define the current map part index, so it's just gonna be the part that the match will start on. So if you put 1, in this case it's gonna be this this part right here. If you put 0, it's gonna be this one, and if you put 1, it's gonna be the last one. The world tab is basically where the airstrikes will get launched from. So you want to be sure that this world tab is kind of fair, you know, like far enough from the floor. So to get them right, you can inspire yourself from the position of the cameras. Like if it's lower than the camera position, then it's probably not a good position for the airstrikes to come from. You want this variable to be higher than the Y position in this let's grab right here, so it should be more than 1555. Then these 2 other variables right here is basically only the drone areas. So this is really important because it's what makes the drones work, basically. So if you get this wrong, the drones aren't gonna spawn, or you're gonna have a couple of errors when the drones are gonna try to spawn in the map. So this basically are just like two points that are gonna define how large is the area that the drone has to go over. So drone area begin, it's just a point on the left bottom corner of the map. So if you come here, you can see here I put a ledge grab defining this point. So it's 442 on the x-axis and 218 on the y-axis. And this is exactly the same that I put here. So it's only a point in the map, and from this point the drones are gonna get their area drawn, basically. So you have to put this spot right on the left bottom corner of your map, and then basically you have to calculate an area for each of the map parts. So you can do this easily by using an area trigger. I'm going to show you right now how to do that. So you can grab an area trigger, and you can kind of measure the whole area of the map like this, starting from the left bottom corner right there. And basically you're gonna just copy the size of this area into this variable right here. So for example, if the rectangle I draw was 536 by 72, then I could write here 526 and 72. You can also put some extra pixels right there so that the area is a little bigger and you don't have any issues. But basically, if you draw this rectangle and it covers all of the drone zones that you drawn earlier, it should be good. And finally, there's these 2 variables, camera width, camera height, which you will have to play with, because it's just how the camera defines its area to cover. So depending on the size of the map and what you want to be seen in the map and what you don't want to be seen, you'll have to change this camera to a different size. And to finish this little tutorial, I'm just gonna go to the map and show you how it looks like. I think I messed up kind of the camera earlier when I was showing you the camera. So this is how it looks like. If you want to test it, you can also put the debug mode on. So you can have a little variable here that says is debug. You can set that to true. And what that changes is that a match never finishes by player's death. It doesn't show the timer. And the game doesn't end when there isn't enough players. So when you change that to true, you can compile that again. And you can launch it. You can just go and test the map by your own. So if you want to test like capture points, the airstrikes, all that stuff, you can also go ahead and add a new player right there. To play with a new player though, you have to launch having added that player. So you can go there, do F2 or Shift F2, I think, yeah. And then just choose some other equipment for that player. And you can kind of play with both of them. You do Shift F1, you can go back to your player and kind of test everything. So there I can launch an airstrike with Alt. Well, it's bugged, so it came from the wrong angle, because I show you this was like an 80-degree angle, so it's probably messed up. But anyway, that's how you can test the map. I want to see, yeah, 80-degree angle, which is completely stupid. I should change that to 0 probably, and it will work better. So anyway, that will cover up the basics of editing a new map for hardcore mode. So now I'm gonna explain to you what you'll have to do when you finish your map. So let's say this is my new map. I'm gonna save it. So what you want to do is save that as a new map and be sure to put it in the same folder of hardcore maps on your local repository. That way it will be automatically in its good place, and I won't have to move it by myself again. So once you've saved your map, basically you're gonna see, I'm gonna show you right now. So you're gonna go back to your folder. I'm gonna show you from here. This is not a good folder. Just a bit to find that folder. Shit. Here it is. SFT script. So now when you're here, you're gonna do Shift, right click, open PowerShell. Then you're gonna do Git status. So you're gonna see that I've added some of the maps here because I've just done it. So you're gonna see a similar message with the name of the map you have added right there. So you're gonna go and say git add point. So git add dot basically just adds all the files that have been detected in your local repository. And if you redo git status, you're gonna see all the files that are going to be added to the repository. So in this case, I'm uploading all of these files into the repository so they're available to you. Now I'm going to do a commit. So I can do commit m and put a message right here. So I'm going to say I've added all of the hardcore maps to repository. To the repository. There you go. Once you've done that, you can just git push. Oops. Yeah, I probably forgot to set the upstream, so he's telling me what to do. I'm just gonna do that. I could have copied the whole command, but I'm just stupid, so I didn't do it. And then it's gonna upload all of those maps into GitHub, into your branch, into your new branch from your own fork of the repository. So once you've done that, you have to come back to my repository, so this URL right here, and you can do a pull request. So basically it will tell you that you have created a new branch, so you can go to pull requests and you can start a new pull request. So you're gonna choose here, you're gonna have a different kind of view here in which you're gonna also be able to choose one of the repositories from your profile. So you're gonna choose that repository from your profile, your own branch, and you're gonna compare it to master, which is the default branch in my repository. I don't know what this is doing. Choose the branches to see what's. I don't know why it didn't start a new pull request. Choose different branch. Okay, I just had chosen the branches incorrectly. So once I've done this, he's going to say if I'm able to merge or not. So if there's no conflicts, normally there won't be any, because you're gonna work on a different file each time because you're adding maps. So you're gonna be able to create the pull request. Here you're gonna see the different maps that have been added. So you can go and create the pull request. Here you can title your pull request. So let's say I want to say I added all of the hardcore maps to the repository. You can write a comment. I also recommend, if you're creating new maps, to send some screenshots in here so that I can see what is the thing that you've worked on, how does the map look, and report any issues right here also. If you need help testing, if you need help with your specific map, you can do this right here. So you can create a pull request, and when you create your pull request, I'm going to be notified that someone wants to merge some code into the main branch, which is like the main repository where everyone will see what you've done. So I'm going to go here and basically review what you have done to say what needs to be changed, or give you some advice on things that have to be done with your map or with the work you do. So basically, when you've created the pull request, you're good to go. You only have to wait for my review, and if everything's okay, I'll just click on this button, which says merge pull request, and confirm merging, and then it's all good. The code will be merged into the main branch, and the maps will be able to be downloaded by other people, like you see right here. So 4 minutes ago I pushed this code. So that's it basically. So if you have any more questions, you can send me a message on Discord, or ping me at GitHub, or, well, you know, most of you know how to contact me by now, so don't hesitate to do that. And that's all for today. I hope you liked the tutorial. Don't hesitate to ask for help. I know most of you are new to Git, are new to all this pull request kind of stuff, but anyway, I won't make this video any longer. Hope you liked it, and see you later.